everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here with a massive May book haul. So I'm actually going to be splitting this into two parts because I hauled quite a few middle grade books and quite a few adult books. So today I'm going to be talking about the adult books, and it's a big stack. It is a big stack. It's from a few different sources. They're mowing right outside. I hope you can't hear that. But it's from a few different sources. One of which, though, is ChristianBooks.com was having a huge sale, and it was free shipping, and they had tons of cheap stuff. I don't think I paid more than $3 for a book, so some of that's mixed in. I got a lot of book of the months because I have no self-control. My library bookstore is always great. So let's just get into it. Honestly, I'm probably going to have to read some synopses because I've been collecting these all month and now we've got quite the stack. So let's get into it. So the first one is actually on my May TBR. So that is the Boardwalk Bookshop by Susan Mallery. Oh yeah, I also ventured out to half price books this month by myself. So that's where this came from. So this is about three women who, it says, fate brings three strangers to a charming space for lease on the California coast. And they decide to open a part bookshop, part gift shop, part bakery. Their business is really successful, but their personal lives are kind of a mess. And so it's their relationships with each other, their relationships with other people, and just all the great things. I love these women's fiction books. And this one's summary. She's reading a book. It's bookish. Like, come on. How can you resist? Especially it was $3. So there's that. Then we have the Moonlight Child by Karen McQuestion. This is on a cold January night. Sharon Lemke heads outside to see a lunar eclipse when she notices something odd at the house behind her backyard. Through her neighbor's kitchen window, she sees what appears to be a little girl washing dishes late at night, but the Fleming family doesn't have a child that age, and even if they did, why would she be doing housework at that late hour? It would be easy for Sharon to just let things go, but when 18-year-old Nikki, a former foster child, comes to live with Sharon, she notices suspicious activity at the Fleming's house as well. When calling social services doesn't result in swift action, the two decide to investigate on their own. So I don't know if this is going to be a thriller or like a domestic kind of contemporary. I don't really know. If you've read this, let me know. It's got a really soft, nice cover. So there's that. Now for the one I dropped, we have Left Behind by Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins. I've heard so much about this story, and this was $1. So this is in one cataclysmic moment, millions around the globe disappear. Vehicles suddenly unmanned, careen out of control. People are terror-stricken as loved ones vanish before their eyes. In the midst of global chaos, airline captain Rayford Steele must search for his family for answers for truth. As devastating as the disappearances have been, the darkest days may lie ahead. So this is a dystopian kind of end of the world book, I think. It's the first in a series. It says the name of the series there, but a novel of the Earth's last day. This is Christian fiction, I believe. So yeah, I'm assuming the series is like the Left Behind series. I don't know. Published by Tyndale. So you guys let me know. Is this really good? Should I prioritize it quickly? What do you think? Next is two in the Sullivan's Crossing series. So we have Any Day Now and The Family Gathering. This is a series about Sullivan's Crossing, which is a town. And so they can be read as standalones. I think I have number 1 and 4, and I've read and liked them both. So Any Day Now. This is about, let's see. Sullivan's Crossing is a rustic campground at the crossing of Colorado and Continental Divide trails that welcomes everyone, whether you need a weekend getaway or a whole new lease on life. It's a wonderful place where good people face their challenges, humor, strength, and love. So that's kind of the series. And so this is Sierra Jones. It's Sullivan's Crossing is supposed to be a brief stopover. She's put her trouble past behind her. The path forward isn't clear. A visit with her big brother Cal and his new bride Maggie seems to be the best option to help her get back on her feet. So I'm guessing Cal and Maggie we've met before, but I don't honestly remember. Not wanting to burden anybody, she's surprised to find the crossing offers so much more than just a place to rest her head. Her brother welcomes her, and she bonds with Sully, a campground owner who's the father figure she always wanted. So hopefully this has got some more than just romance. But when her past catches up with her, it's a special man and an adorable puppy who give her the strength to face the truth and fight for a brighter future. So Sarah learns to cherish the family you are given and the family you choose. So love found family. Love that this has more going on. Again, this series is one that is definitely, I would say it's more women's fiction than romance, but there's equal parts of both. Then we have The Family Gathering. So this is, from a beloved women's fiction writer fans of beloved women's fiction writer Carr will enjoy spending time with the Jones siblings. So this is about Dakota Jones with his brother and one sister happily settled in Sullivan's Crossing. He shows up there hoping to clear his head before moving on to his next adventure. He's immediately drawn to the down-to-earth people, seemingly simple way of life, but it gets complicated. He's on everyone's radar, especially the single women in town. So the Jones siblings all gather for a family wedding. I'm wondering... who are the Jones siblings? What We Find is the one I've read. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure maybe these are all siblings. I don't know. Like I said, you can read them as standalones. I'm sure it would be better if you read them in order, but I've read number 1 and 4, and I'm happy to read 2 and 3 in the middle. So obviously not ones that I'm going to remember forever, and I don't love mass market, but they're 50 cents. What can we say? Next, we have The Best of Me by Nicholas Sparks. Now, you guys... I kind of go back and forth on if I want to break up with Nicholas Sparks or not. You know what you're going to get with him, and I enjoy them. I mean, sometimes they're too cheesy, sometimes they're good. This one's $2. So this is spring of 1984. Two high school students fall in love. They're from opposite sides of the tracks, etc. It's in North Carolina. As the summer of their senior year came to a close, unforeseen events would tear the young couple apart, setting them on radically divergent paths. So Nicholas Sparks writes romance that isn't necessarily a happily ever after. There's always some like intense tearjerkers, not in every single book, but in general. Now, 25 years later, the two are summoned back to Oriental, North Carolina is where they're from, for a funeral. Neither lived the life they imagined, and neither can forget the passionate first love that forever changed their lives. So I love, love, love First Love, Second Chance. I love exploring high school love. Like, some of my really good friends were high school sweethearts and got married to their high school sweetheart, and now, you know, however many years later, they're still married. Others of us had our first love in high school and then moved on and married other people, and that's worked out great. And so I just like, for some reason, that dynamic is so interesting, and people who date in high school versus don't, and how it all works out, like, it fascinates me. I don't know why, it just does. So yeah, I'm curious. First Love, Second Chance, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Then we have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. So I got this in Book of the Month. I would have said prior to last month, prior to April, I would have said I'm not a huge Abby Jimenez fan. I didn't love Part of Your World. It was fine. Nothing like exceptional. I have never read the like Happily Ever After playlist because I think that has something to do with infertility. Maybe that I've heard to kind of stay away from. But this one sounds so good, and I loved Yours Truly. So here we are. When it comes to love, Emma's cursed. Every guy she dates finds his true love after they break up, but she's not the only one with this curse. So she meets a guy who also has the same curse. Like, as soon as they date somebody and break up, that person finds their soulmate. So they're thinking, if we date each other, how's that going to work out? So will they cancel each other out and then find their soulmates, or what? But obviously they kind of have a thing for each other, so that's how it all goes. Next, we have Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth. And now, by the time you see this, I don't know what's going to go up first. I may have read this because I plan to read this here at the end of April. And so, yeah, that feels good. But I have it on NetGalley, and I got it from Book of the Month, assuming I'm going to love it because I've loved Sally Hepworth before. This is about, let's see, I think 3 sisters. For as long as they can remember, Jessica, Nora, and Alicia have been told how lucky they are. As young girls, they were rescued from family tragedies and raised in a loving foster mom, Miss Fairchild, in an idyllic farming estate, and given an exclusive second chance at a happy family life. But their childhood wasn't the fairy tale everyone thinks it was. Miss Fairchild had rules and could be unpredictable, and she was never to be crossed. In a moment of desperation, the 3 broke away and thought they were free. Even though they never saw her again, she was always somewhere in the shadows of their minds. When a body is discovered under the home they grew up in, the foster sisters find themselves thrust in the spotlight as key witnesses. Or are they prime suspects? I don't know. Sounds really interesting. I love Sally Hepworth, so I bought it without reading it. We're going to hope it's good. Then we have one that I've actually already read, and that's Bye Baby by Carola Lovering. So I really like this book. This is about 2 friends who were great friends growing up and then kind of lost touch. One is now an influencer living this like posh life. The other one is she's dating a cop, more of a blue collar situation, not prestigious in the same way. She is the more blue collar one. I can't remember their names. Let's see. Billy is the blue collar one and Cassie is the influencer. Billy is cat sitting or something for her boss who lives in the same apartment building as Cassie. And Cassie's throwing this big party and she hears her baby crying. And so Billy takes her. And then she's like, uh-oh, what did I just do? And so it's kind of one of those, what's going to happen? How is this going to impact the friendship? Like I said, they had lost touch and weren't really, Cassie kind of has a holier than thou attitude or a better than you attitude. So how's that dynamic going to play out? I was really on the edge of my seat with this and really like stressed. This is definitely like a drama more than a thriller. Like there's twists and turns, but you know what the case is. Like, you know what's going on. You're just trying to figure out how is everybody going to get out of this. So I loved it. Then we have, Intertwined by Jennifer Slattery. So things you may not know about me. I love medical dramas and medical romance. I thought that would change, and it kind of has. I've always loved them, and I had thought that I wanted to be a doctor or a nurse or something, but I really, really, really hate vomit, so I didn't do that. And now my love for books about it have changed a little bit since my mom's had cancer. I've had a really high-risk, health-compromised child. All those kind of things have kind of dulled my love for it, but this one sounded good. So this is abandoned by her husband for another woman. Tammy Kuhn, an organ procurement coordinator, finds herself in an altercation with a doctor. Now she's fighting to keep her job and her sanity when one late night she encounters an old flame facing an unthinkable tragedy. Because they both find eternal purposes in every event and every encounter, they soon discover their lives are intertwined. But the ICU is no place for romance, or is it? This could be where life begins again. So it says it's a great resource for a book club discussion in women's Bible studies or ministry sources. So this is a Christian fiction about two people who find love in the ICU. Let's try it. Next, we have Nobody's Child by Austin Boyd. What price will a mother pay to save her only son? So brace yourself for this gripping introduction to the Pandora Files, a new series of bioethics suspense novels. Meet Laura Ann McGee. Determined to honor her father's dying request, the young West Virginia woman will do whatever it takes to save the family farm, including using the one remaining financial resource she has, her body. Sophia McQuestion, thanks to the unusual sacrifice of a woman she's never met, she carries the child she can never conceive. Ian Stewart, in Laura's time of need, he's more than just a close friend. He's a source of grace and a man who loves her. And so all those people, Sophia's baby ends in Laura Ann's care. Laura Ann is now the virgin mother of her own biological son. The media calls him Nobody's Child, but somebody wants him badly enough to steal him. Weaving together bioethics and faith, Nobody's Child dramatizes a future that's already upon us with consequences we can no longer avoid. So this sounds like almost like a Jodi Picoult, kind of like the bioethics, what would you do situation with a Christian fiction twist. So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about this, so we'll see. This is a part of the christianbooks.com or whatever. They were all $1, so there we go. Then we have The Dating Charade by Melissa Ferguson. Now, this is a Christian fiction that I think it's blurred by Sheila Roberts, so maybe it's not even Christian fiction. It's Thomas Nelson, but they've kind of changed a little bit. So this one doesn't have great ratings, but it's about Cassie. She is an expert at escaping bad first dates, and after years of meeting, greeting, and running from the men who try to woo her, Cassie's almost ready to retire her hopes for a husband and children altogether. But fate has other plans, and her online dating profile catches the eye of a firefighter. And yeah, so he knows her and like had a crush on her in high school. And so, yeah, I think they, and they go home and find 3 children dropped in their laps. They independently decide to do the right mature thing, hide the kids from each other while sorting it all out. So, yeah, they're both trying to date, but not admit that they have kids, I guess, like kids to take care of. So I don't know. It is a debut, so we'll see. I think this is going to be about kids and romance and how the two intertwine, and I like those. Then we have A Haven for Her Heart, and this is Redemption's Light #1 by Susan Ann Mason, another dollar find. This is about, a woman's reformatory in 1941 in Toronto. So she wants nothing more to forget the horrors of her time there and return to normal, but with her family unwilling to forgive and her employers wary of hiring her, she quickly ends up desperate and homeless until she meets Ruth Bennington. The two discover they share a painful history together and decide to open a maternity home for troubled women. So I don't really know any more than that. This is textured, and I really like that. But yeah, so a woman's reformatory in 1941, then they open a maternity home for troubled women. So we'll see. Sounds interesting. Next, we have Like Dandelion Does by Karen Kingsbury. I love Karen Kingsbury. Again, you know what you're going to get with her, and so I wouldn't read them back to back to back to back, but I like them every now and again. And this is about Joey Campbell's biological father is released from prison. 4-year-old Joey faces a life no one could have planned. His father wants custody, and a judge's quick decision deals a devastating blow to the Campbell family. Joey must return to his biological parents. In a haze of grief and disbelief, the Campbells watch their adopted son pick a dandelion and blow the feathery seeds into the wind. In the days following the ruling, Jack Campbell conceives a desperate and dangerous thought. What if they can devise a way out? What if they can take Joey and just disappear like Dandelion does? So this is going to be another like moral dilemma of what do you do? Yeah, sounds interesting. Then we have When We Found Home by Susan Mallery. So another $3 half-price books find. I don't think this is a part of a series at all. This is after life knocked Delaney Holbrook sideways. She didn't get down. She got busy. She went back to school determined to reinvent herself. She even swore off men in suits. But then one particular man in one very fine suit proves too tempting to resist. CEO of a family-owned food company. His life has been complicated by the arrival of 2 half-sisters he never met, etc., etc. So it's found family, romance, all that kind of stuff. Sounds cute. Then we've got The New Wife by Sue Watson. I must have got this at the library bookstore, I think. So my darling son Sam is marrying his childhood sweetheart, and nobody could be prouder of the man he's grown into. She left the abusive father years ago, and he's marrying this like dream girl that she loves as the daughter-in-law. But then the daughter-in-law winds up dead, and yeah, so I think we're trying to find, did her son kill his wife? Yeah, desperate. I do what every good mother would do. I let myself into Sam and Lauren's bedroom. What I see, I may never be able to forget. My son's beautiful new wife was hiding a dangerous secret. Can I clear my son's name, and can my life be in danger too? I don't know. Sounds interesting. And then last, we have Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica. I like Mary Kubica. I haven't read a ton of hers, but this is about a girl who goes missing, a series of women who go missing, I think, and the community's scared. Are they all connected? Yeah, the case goes cold when they can't figure it out. And so now 11 years later, Delilah, which is one of the missing gals, she returns, and everyone wants to know what happened to her, but no one's prepared for what they'll find. So I don't know. So that's overwhelming. That's a lot of books. Really just from the library bookstore, half-price books, because yeah, my parents were in town at some point in April, and so they had the kids, and I had a couple hours with nothing to do, so I went to my library bookstore, I went to Half Price Books, and I got all these books. And then I was really trying to get books for my kids on Christian Books, and I mean, you gotta treat yourself too, right? Especially when they're $1 or $2. So that is everything I got in May. Is there anything I should like prioritize and read quickly? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Whoops, joke's on me. Apparently, I forgot this was an in and out and not just a haul, because I do have a couple that I'm unhauling. So first, we've got The Truth About the Devlins by Lisa Scottoline. This is an art copy, and this is her newest book. It is about the Devlin family, and they're a family of lawyers, except there's one black sheep child who is he's not a lawyer. He's got a criminal history. He's had a history of alcohol abuse, etc. And the golden child, Mr. Lawyer, he comes to this black sheep brother and says, hey, I need help. I accidentally killed a client. And so this brother is trying to help cover his brother. We're trying to figure it out. There's also the sister is a pro bono lawyer investigating a situation where people are being medically experimented on. And so the brother helps with that as well. I like Lisa Scottoline because she generally has a good mix of like family dynamics and crime thriller. This was definitely more crime thriller, so just not for me, but somebody else will like it. Then we have The Secret of Happy Ever After by Lucy Dillon. This is a contemporary book about two women who come together. They've been friends before. Michelle is kind of a workaholic. She's got an estranged husband. She owns like a home goods store and is really successful, and she wants to take over the property next to hers, and it is currently operated as a bookstore, and the condition on her being able to take over the space is she has to continue to run it as a bookstore for at least a year or whatever. So Anna, I think, is her friend. She's a book book lover. She is dealing with, she's married to a man that has 3 teen and tween daughters, and so she's stepmom to them, so she's dealing with some relationship dynamics there. Also, her wanting her own baby, like her own biological baby, and her husband, you know, of course, having some resistance to that because he's got like almost grown children, and so that dynamic, but then she starts managing the bookstore for her friend Michelle, and there's a lot more relationship dynamics. It was a really cute book. I really, in general, enjoyed it, but it is like 500 pages almost, and it doesn't need to be that long. It could have been like 100 pages shorter, and I would have really, really, really liked it. I did read this all physically, so it's good. It's just not great. And I probably won't physically read it again. Next is The Shore by Katie Rundy. So this is about a family who is impacted by their father's brain tumor. He has a brain tumor that is taking over, and so it's changing his personality. It is making him unable to like regulate himself. Lots of things are going on. The family, there's 2 or 3 daughters and the mother. They all react differently to it. This is a pretty heavy hitting thing, and almost like dark in tone. Like, not, of course it's a dark topic, but like it's just almost like a dark humor in a way that I didn't really enjoy. So there's that. And then last is this How to Talk So Your Kids Will Listen and Listen So Your Kids Will Talk. This is a book I read that I would say is very much a product of its time. It was written in the 70s, early 80s, something like that. And it just didn't provide anything new for me. And so, yeah, don't need to keep it. So that's the unhaul portion. Much, much shorter than the haul, but I thought I would tell you guys anyway. Most of those will be on Pango, so check my Pango bookstore if you want to buy them. And yeah, that's everything. Now we'll see you in the next one.